did this. This what you wanted, bitch. So you got it now. So cherish it, ho.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back or welcome to my channel. I hope you guys are doing good tonight. So, as y'all can see by the title of this video, I have decided that I just wanted to open up and be transparent by telling you guys my DV story. It's going to be kind of hard for me to talk about, more so when I talk about like the physical abuse parts of the story. But, I really felt it in my heart to just tell y'all like what I went through in my last serious relationship and basically talk about like the first few months, because the signs and the red flags were right there in my face, and I was just being so dismissive, and it was just kind of going over my head. Also, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I just want to be able to spread awareness to other young women out there. And I feel like when I started my channel 3 years ago, I would have never been able to tell my story. I would have never been able to talk about it. But I feel like now that I'm in a better headspace, I feel like, yeah, I feel like I can talk about it now, and I can just, be open and transparent about what I went through, because I did go through a lot. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. I'm just gonna touch on like the important things in the story time. So to give y'all the backstory, I'm gonna give my ex a name. Let me start off with that, because I don't want to keep saying my ex throughout the video. So I'm gonna call my ex Angry. I'm not even trying to be funny. I just feel like that's one of the words that I can describe him back then. He was a very angry individual. Okay, he would take his anger out on me. We were in a long distance relationship. My ex is 9 years older than me. And I definitely feel like we jumped into a relationship very quickly. We definitely got into a relationship very quickly. And I can honestly say back then, I didn't know what I really wanted out of life. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, like with me. But I knew that I wanted to share my life with someone else. I wanted to be in a serious relationship. I wanted to find true love. I wanted to find my person. I wanted to settle down. I was tired of being single. So when we rushed into a relationship, I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't think that it was a red flag, but now looking back, it definitely is a red flag, jumping into a serious relationship. The thing that I did like about him was that he was being consistent. We would talk and text every day on the phone. Even when he would be at work, we would talk on the phone all the time. We became friends on Facebook, all that good stuff. So everything seemed right. Like, yeah, we would argue here and there. We would have like our little disagreements or whatnot. But I felt like, that's normal. Like a lot of couples go through it, and no relationship is perfect. But I never would have thought that later on down the line, things would like go left. Another thing that I want to point out to y'all is, like I said, um, Angry he was really good to me. I felt comfortable with him. Like I told this man my secrets. I opened up and told this man things that I never thought I would tell anybody. But I did end up regretting it later on, because he would throw it back in my face. And I just don't understand when people do that. Like, why do you want to go below the belt? Why would you want to throw that in my face when I felt like I could trust you with this information? But yeah, I feel like Angry definitely was putting on a facade. He was wearing this mask. And I feel like a lot of guys that are toxic, abusive, and a narcissist, and then him being older than me, I felt like he played on the fact that I was younger, and he knew that I had depression and anxiety, because I told him. So he played on all of that. And I feel like it was easy for him to get me in his trap. You know what I'm saying? The fact that it was so easy for me to be like, okay, I'm willing to move in with you, because he was talking about wanting me to move in with him. We were talking about marriage and what kind of wedding did I want. Like we was talking about all of that. I even told him how, when I went to the ER one day, because I was having some stomach pains and I was just going through it, y'all. Like I was in a lot of pain, throwing up, and I knew something was wrong with me. Like you just know your body. And I went to the ER and they ran some tests, and that's when they told me that I had gallstones. And they just said some things that just scared me, and I just got really nervous. So when I left the hospital, I called him, I get on the phone with him, and I'm just like, babe, they just told me that I have gallstones and I'm scared. They're talking about performing surgery. Like, I ain't never been through this before. Like, I was just pouring my heart out, just telling him everything, that they told me, this, that, and the third. But he put my mind at ease. He made me feel comfortable. He told me I had nothing to worry about. I got you. He was supposed to be my support system. So fast forward, he ended up coming to visit me. He drove 10 hours. I think he said there was like a snowstorm, because he lived in the Midwest. I was living down south. But I was born and raised in the Midwest though. But at the time when I met him, I was living down south. So when he finally came to see me, I was elated. I was so happy to be able to lay eyes on him, to hug him, hold hands with him. It just felt really good. It felt really, really, really good. I definitely needed that companionship because, like I said, I had not been in a relationship in a very, very long time. So before he left, he ended up telling me that he loved me. I said it right back because I thought, okay, maybe that's what I'm supposed to say because I didn't want to just, I didn't want to just not say it. And then we had made the decision. We had planned for me to move in with him the following month. And that's what I ended up doing. And I feel like that's when my life was going to change, not for the better. So I ended up moving into his house. Everything was cool at first. Everything was cool until one day. One day he told me that he had to go run some errands. And I said, okay, I'll just I'll stay at the house. It's nothing. So I'm sitting up in the living room and I don't know what I was doing, but I was sitting up in the living room. And the next thing I know, I hear a loud banging at the front door. And I'm thinking to myself, like, who could that be? Because I knew it couldn't have been angry because he had a garage and he would usually come through the back, right? He would come through the back. And which, of course, I didn't think nothing of it because he had a garage and that's where he would park his car. So I'm thinking, like, who could be knocking and who's banging at the door? They're banging like boom, 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 boom at the front door. And I'm thinking, like, who could this be? I'm not finna look in the blinds. I'm not finna look in the peephole. I'm scared. Like, I don't know the neighbors. I don't know the neighborhood. Like, I don't know what be going on around here. I just got here. So I was like, okay, maybe they'll go away, because I'm not finna ask who is it. I'm not finna open the door. They started banging on the door again. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not finna open up this door. So the next thing I know, y'all, I hear keys. Like, it sounded like a whole bunch of keys jingling. And you know how you can tell when somebody's about to like open the door, like unlock the door or whatever? Y'all, I hear this, whoever it was, unlock the door. I bolt out the back door. I run out the back door. I come around to the side and then I walk in the front yard. I see the front door is wide open and I'm thinking, who is this? Like, who is this? The next thing I know, I see an older white guy. He's coming out the front door and he walks up to me while I'm standing in the front yard and he's asking for somebody. He says a girl's name. He's asking where is such and such. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know who that is. And he probably was thinking like, you don't know who that is, but you up in this house. Like, so come to find out he was the landlord, right? So he's like, yeah, such and such, she's behind on the rent and I need my rent money. I'm trying to get a hold of her. I'm trying to figure out like what's going on. And I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you, because I was really in the dark about the situation, like what was going on. So he eventually ended up leaving because I was no help at all. So I don't know, maybe he probably thought I was lying because how you up in this house and you don't know who I'm talking about. So I go into the house and I call Angry. I get on the phone with Angry and I'm going in on him. I'm not cursing him out, but I'm, raising my voice and I'm just like upset because, dude, why you didn't tell me what was going on? Like, why you didn't tell me the whole situation about this whole back payment, back rent? The landlord, he wants his rent money. Like, what is going on? So my ex was the type of dude, he don't care whether he's in the right or in the wrong. He does not like for you to come at him. No, like if he feels like you're yelling at him, disrespecting him, coming at him sideways, he does not like that at all. And he started raising his voice or whatever, yada, yada, yada. So he was like, don't worry about it. I'm going to be on my way home. So he gets back to the house. We're still kind of like going at it, going back and forth. Come to find out, y'all, the person that the landlord was asking for, who he was looking for, was Angry's ex-girlfriend. Why was he looking for Angry's ex-girlfriend? Was because her name was on the lease. They shared that house together before she decided that she no longer wanted before she decided that she no longer wanted to live in the house. She decided to leave him the house. She wanted to go back home to be closer to her mom and her kids. I don't know why her kids were not with her to begin with, but she just was like, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. And she left him by himself in that house. So when I found out that that was the house that they shared together, I'm baffled. And I'm just thinking like, what? And I'm thinking like, dude, you could have waited for me to come until we were able to find a place together. Like, I felt weird. I didn't feel right living in the house that he shared with his ex-girlfriend. Like, I didn't like that. I didn't think that was cool at all. So that situation happened, y'all. Okay. And I'm pretty sure he felt like it was no big deal, me living in the house. But to me, it was. So fast forward, he ended up coming across this job posting on Craigslist, right? And it was in his career field. So I think he felt kind of skeptical about the post because y'all know Craigslist. It be people scamming, people be putting up fake posts and everything. And it was saying something like you can make $1,200 a week, like you can make good money or whatever, right? And he finally asked me, what I thought about it. And I said, yeah, I think that you should go for it. I think that you should apply for it and, go for it. And basically, y'all, we were going to be taking a chance. Okay. Mind y'all, the job was going to be in my hometown, in my home state. And I wanted to get up out that house anyways. I did not care about having no backup plan. I didn't care about no backup plan. I don't even think that we even thought of having a backup plan. But yeah, I was ready to go. If that means going back to my hometown, which is what I wanted to do, then okay, cool. So we packed up and we left, and that was like a 4-hour drive. So we left that night. We get there and we had to settle on this motel that was run down, had bed bugs, illegal stuff going on, but we minded our own business. And I ended up paying for the first week that we stayed there because I had just got my income tax and, he didn't really have no money like that. So he ended up going to the job interview the very next day. Okay. He goes to the job interview. I went with him and I stayed in the car, waited for him. And that's when he came back to the car and said he got the job. And I was like, oh, babe, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I knew that you could do it. I knew that you would get it. Just me being encouraging, being positive, right? Just being a positive minded girlfriend. But I feel like when it came down to me, he was never like that. So yeah, he started working at the job. He would get paid every week. He was getting paid good money. He started buying clothes, brand new shoes, jewelry. He even went and got his hair cut because he definitely needed it because he was looking rough when he came to pick me up when I, moved in with him. But yeah, he was looking clean. He was looking different. He was, I mean, he looked good either way. But it's something about when um, when you have a new wardrobe, you got new this, new that. It just makes you like, it makes you look a little different. He got my nails, toes done, got my hair done and stuff like that. And this may sound crazy, but it took some time for me to get used to him wanting to take care of me or to buy things for me because I had been single for so long. I wasn't used to a man buying me stuff, getting my nails and toes done. I wasn't used to that. But I guess, since I was his girl, I had to get used to it. I feel like when we started living in the motel, that's when I started to notice certain things about him that I didn't like that would embarrass me. And I started to notice the mask was slipping off, right? So this man got into it with people that we did not know. He got into it with the guy that worked at the Verizon store because I had Verizon at the time and I had added Angry to my account. They got into it or whatever, and it would be his demeanor, his tone of voice, and the way he would talk to people. It would really embarrass me, y'all. I wanted to be able to hide up under a rock the way that he would come at people. And then there was an older black lady that lived across the hall from us, and he went clean off on this lady. And I will say she was nosy and she was inserting herself into our conversation, which, she had no business doing that. But, she did. But I felt like he was so wrong for coming at her the way that he did or whatever. And I just was like, why would you do that? Like, he scared her off, y'all, to where she just went running back to her room. And I'm thinking, like, what if she called the police on you and try to, like, exaggerate how you came at her? Like, come on now. But yeah, he didn't care. Like, he didn't care how old you were. He didn't care who you were. He was going to get into it with you. He even got into it eventually with my cousin real bad. And then eventually he ended up getting into it with my dad over Facebook Messenger. So let me tell y'all about the situation that pertains to my dad. So I was cool with my dad's fiance at the time. And I ended up telling her, like, yeah, me and my new dude, like, we living up here together. And she was like, oh, okay, y'all should come by the house and, so that, me and your dad can meet him. So I said, okay, cool. And I was looking forward to it. My dad has never met any guy that I dated, right? He never has. And I really wanted to see if my dad would like him. I wanted to see, how things would go, right? He got there. My dad actually, I think he was getting off of work, right? He was on his way to the house. So my dad eventually gets to the house and, they're talking and everything. We're all talking or whatever. And then my dad ended up asking my ex, he ended up asking Angry, how did y'all meet? I felt like, well, my dad ain't asking me. My dad ain't asking me that question. So you go ahead and answer it. And I wanted to see what Angry was going to say. And Angry, Angry did not answer the question. He basically danced around the question. And I was kind of glad he did because I didn't want my dad knowing that we met online. Because, sometimes people will be like, oh, you got to be careful dating people that you meet online on the dating apps and stuff like that. I kind of didn't want to hear that. So yeah, he basically, he didn't answer the question. And even when we left and we were in the car, he said like he did that on purpose. He didn't want to tell my dad exactly how we met. And I was, kind of glad that he did that. But then later on, y'all, like after I broke up with Angry, I had a one-on-one conversation with my dad, and I ended up telling my dad a little bit about, what I went through. I told my dad, like, yeah, he put his hands on me, this, that, and the third. And tell me why my dad said when he first met Angry that he did not like him. He knew there was something about him that he just did not like. And he basically felt like Angry was not a good dude for me. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why you didn't try to tell me? Like, why you didn't try to warn me? You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, I probably would have still stayed with him. I ain't even gonna lie. I probably would have still stayed with Angry. But, at least my dad could have been like, well, I tried to tell you. He could have been like, well, I tried to warn you. I tried to tell you. But he didn't, y'all. He didn't tell me until after the fact, like after I broke up with him. But yeah. And I kind of feel like, with Angry getting into it with, some of my family members, I feel like, when you're in it, when you're the one in the relationship, like you ain't seeing nothing because you're blinded by love. You're not seeing it. Like other people that's on the outside looking in, they see it, like my dad could tell just by having that one conversation with Angry. He knew something was off with him, that there was just something about him that didn't sit right with him. And yeah, I just kind of wish that, I had someone to be able to pull me to the side, let me know something like, yeah, like he not it. Like this ain't it. You could do better or something, I don't know. But anyways, so another situation, another thing that happened was Angry eventually started to open up to me, and he told me about his past and the stuff that he used to get into. He used to get into some stuff that I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna get into that. But I'm just like, okay, everybody got a past, nobody's perfect. And then the one thing that did stand out to me, what he said to me was about his ex, the same ex with the whole house situation with the landlord. He had told me about a situation. I'm not gonna like tell y'all the whole story, but long story short, he had told me that he had put hands on her really bad. Like he had beat her really bad to the point where you couldn't really recognize her. And like it was bad. Like she had to go to the hospital and everything. And he said that woke him up, and he was like, "Oh, like when I did that, like I." He said he told himself that he would never do that. Like he said that he never wanted to put hands on another woman. Like it just basically woke him up, right? And that did kind of like it did kind of open up my eyes. But then I was thinking like, well, people do change, and I wanted to give him a chance because I felt like, well, he hasn't put his hands on me at this point, and I thought that he was never going to put hands on me because I thought that he changed and that he was different. But no, y'all, he had not changed. He had not changed, and I was starting to see that. Eventually, I was going to see that later on. We had the situation with the bed bugs. They did end up putting us in a different room after we found bed bugs. Like we was waking up itching. We had to buy creams and stuff like that. Like, mind y'all, I ain't never dealt with bed bugs before. When I had my own place, I never had bed bugs. When I stayed in hotels, I never had bed bugs. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. I don't know. I guess when I was like taking the sheets off of the bed or whatever, he was like going off on me. He ended up calling the same ex, right? The same ex, telling her like, he basically telling her our business, like, yeah, we got bed bugs, and she's supposed to put the sheets in the bag and tie it up real good and then wash the sheets in hot water. Like he was just like going in on me about, how I was handling the whole bed bug situation. Like I said, I didn't know. And she's basically like, yeah, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like that. And I ain't gonna lie. I was irritated. I was annoyed, but I didn't really say anything. I just was like, kind of like, okay, whatever. And I also do want to say when it comes down to the ex-girlfriend, I ain't gonna lie. At first, I did feel some type of way towards her. I was mad at her. I didn't like her. I didn't like the fact that they were so close and that they were still dealing with each other. And I used to think like, why is she still around? Like, why this? Why that? Um, I just didn't like it. But when I think back on it, I had been stopped being mad at her because I had to think about it like, there's no reason for me to be mad at this girl. I should be more mad at him because he's the one that's in a relationship with me. He should have been broke it off with her. He should have been left her alone. Like I just couldn't understand why I just didn't like the fact that he kept her around. Like the whole 6 years, y'all, he dealt with her. She was always like in the picture. And another reason why I'm not going to really like go in is because she has since passed. She's no longer here with us. And, I just want to be respectful. So I'm not going to really go in. I'm not going to say too much. Anything that I do say, that's how I did feel at that time. But even way before she had passed away, I wasn't mad at her anymore. I was mad at him. So after all of that happened, I think that was everything. Oh no, the last situation before I move on. So like I said, y'all, I don't know if I already said this, but I was losing weight. I wasn't really eating, and my clothes were falling off of me, y'all. Like this is embarrassing, but I used to roll up the top of my jeans, y'all, so that they could fit. I used to roll up my jeans so that they could fit, but I looked so sad. I looked so pathetic, y'all. Like I was going through it. one day we were going to the beauty supply store, and I think I was going to get my hair done or something like that. And I needed to get some items like combs and brushes and, stuff that I needed to be able to do my hair, get hair and stuff like that. And then also, you know how the beauty supply store, they sell like the little jumpsuits, little outfits and stuff like that. So he said, yeah, get what you want, like get you, a few outfits or whatever, get your stuff for your hair, this, that, and the third. So I said, okay, cool. Mind you, summer was right around the corner at this point. So I ended up getting like some really cute, like it was like some black, I'll never forget, there was like some black stretch pants. It was like really cute. I think they had like, I don't know, like little holes and stuff in it. I don't know. But I thought it was cute and I wanted to wear it. So he pays for the stuff. We end up getting in the car. He's driving, right? And we start getting into it. Let me just say this now, y'all. We stayed into it. We argued all the time. And I really think that he got off on arguing. I don't know if it turned him on, if it was just entertainment for him. I don't know. But I feel like he definitely loved to argue. So tell me why, y'all. He started saying stuff like, I don't want you to have these clothes. Like, I'll throw this stuff out the window. Try me if you want to. And I kind of did have a slick mouth. I was flip at the mouth or whatever. And I didn't think that he was going to do it because I'm thinking like, dude, you bought this stuff, not me. You bought this stuff. And I guess he didn't care about money. He didn't care if this was, some stuff that he bought me. This man decided that he was going to roll down the window and he just flung them clothes out the window, y'all, as he's driving. Probably hit the car that was behind us. I don't know. Who knows? And I'm just sitting there like, I can't believe that this man did this. I can't believe he threw my clothes out the window. And then I'm thinking like, well, what am I going to wear now? Like, I really had my heart set on wearing this outfit. Like, I was sick and tired of wearing my jeans that was sagging and falling off of me. So I'm thinking like, what am I going to wear now? Because I knew he wasn't going to like take me back to the store. I don't even think that he did take me back later on that day. He was really pissed at me. And then I'm thinking to myself like, well, I don't care. Like, that ain't my money going down the drain. He's stupid for, throwing the clothes out the window. So, it bothered me, but then again, it didn't. I just thought it was really crazy and just really stupid for him to throw some stuff out the window that he paid for, all because he don't want me to have it because he's mad at me. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so I think I said everything that I needed to say pertaining to us living in the motel, right? So then he ended up finding this townhome. It was a 3-bedroom townhome in a really nice neighborhood, and he ended up finding it. He went to go look at it without me, y'all. I think we was into it. Like, the thing that we would do is I would shut down and then he would shut down. So he's waiting for me to say something. I'm waiting for him to say something. We just not talking. We just not saying nothing to each other. And I guess that is toxic. So he went to go look at the place without me. And I felt some type of way because how are you going to look at places without me? I didn't like that. So eventually he broke the ice. He said something to me. He was like, yeah, I went to go look at this townhouse, townhome, however you want to call it. Oh, my voice. He was like, yeah, I like it. It's nice. And he said he did the application. He said other people were looking at it too. But when he showed the pay stubs to the landlord, basically the landlord said the place was his. Once the landlord was able to see how much money he was making, basically the place was his. So it was like I wanted to be happy, but then again, I don't know. I just really wasn't because I wanted to be there to see it. Eventually, when I went to go look at the place, I did talk to the landlord, and the landlord told me that my name could not be on the lease because of a previous thing that was on my credit that had to do with my last place that I was at. Well, not my very last place, but another place that I lived at. He was like, yeah, you can't be on the lease because of that situation, but you can live here. Like, that's fine. You can live here or whatever. So I was just like, okay, I guess I got to take it. Right. We ended up moving in. My ex ended up giving me my own key and everything, but I didn't feel like it was my home in the beginning because of the fact that my name was not on the lease. I don't know, like, if it's like, okay, girl, get over it or whatever. I mean, eventually I did, but I think it was more so the fact that it was like something just came over me. And I really feel like it was God speaking to me and God was trying to tell me like, this ain't it. Like, don't move in here. Like, I feel like God was showing me signs along the way. He was speaking to me. He was showing me everything that I needed to see, but I was too blinded, y'all. I was too blinded. And also keep in mind at this time, I did not have a relationship with God. I didn't even know how to pray. So yeah, I really feel like God was speaking to me and was trying to tell me like, some things were about to happen later on down the line once we officially move into this place. After, moving in and everything, he got the place furnished, right? So one night we were in the living room and he had a flat screen TV in the living room and he wanted me to help like put in the HDMI cord. So I had never had a flat screen TV, even when I lived on my own, being single. I never had a flat screen TV. I always had the old school box TV, the big old school box TVs or whatever. And yeah, I didn't know, like, I mean, I feel like it's not that hard to like set up a flat screen TV, but I was struggling with the HDMI cord or whatever. So once he realized that, like, he was being very impatient with me, and I do not like when people get to huffing and puffing, and people, you can tell when somebody is impatient with you. And he was the type of person, he had no filter, he did not give a damn. Okay. He started going in on me, basically calling me stupid, saying my 11-year-old daughter can hook up a TV. My 11-year-old daughter can plug up an HDMI cord. You mean to tell me you can't hook up a flat screen TV? Like, he was really going in on me, y'all. And I didn't say anything in that moment because I didn't want to, but the way he used to talk down to me, like I was stupid, like I was slow. Okay. I hated it. So then he wanted me to rip up the TV box. He wanted me to rip it up in pieces and put it in a garbage bag instead of me, putting the box on the curb for the garbage man to pick up, because, you don't want people knowing what you bought, what you got in your house. So I didn't mind doing it, but I was taking my time, like I was taking my time doing it. So tell me why, y'all. I'm in the kitchen and I'm trying to finish up ripping up the box or whatever. He comes into the kitchen, he got his shirt off, he's rolling up or whatever. He smoked green all the time. He was addicted to smoking green. So he comes in there, he sits at the kitchen table and he gonna say, I guess I gotta come in here and sit here and watch you rip up the box since you're taking your sweet time doing it. I done told you so many times to rip up this box. So he's just going in, he's just going on and on and on and on, treating me like a little kid. He even said, so I gotta sit here and watch you like you a little kid and make sure you do what I told you to do. Y'all, this dude, like, I hated the way he talked to me like I was a child. It's like, dude, I'm not your child, I'm your girlfriend. Treat me like I'm your girl. Like, don't talk to me crazy, don't talk down to me like that. Like, don't do that. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking to myself. So yeah so yeah he would do little stuff like that, like the way he would talk down to me, disrespect me or whatever, right? So let me go into the next incident, which involves him putting his hands on me. So one day we're in the kitchen and I'm washing dishes. He's sitting at the kitchen table, probably rolling up. My back is turned towards him, right? We're having a conversation. Every now and then I'm looking over at him, as I'm washing dishes and everything. And I do kind of remember what the conversation was about. And basically, y'all, because I was trying to like think back, like, what did I do wrong? Like, what did I say to make him that mad to put his hands on me? So we were having a normal adult conversation, and I feel like I said something to where it wasn't my tone of voice, but I guess it was the fact that I wasn't agreeing with him, and I guess he wanted me to. So yeah, we were just like having a conversation. We weren't arguing or nothing like that. So the next thing I know, I hear him getting up from the table, right? He's getting up slowly. I'm not thinking nothing of it. He could be going to the refrigerator. He could be going to the bathroom, which was right there by the kitchen. He could have been doing whatever, right? And I thought we were like done with the conversation. The next thing I know, y'all, mind you, obviously my guard is all the way down. I'm not in defense mode, right? Because I don't know what he's about to do. I don't know that this man is about to come up behind me. The next thing I know, y'all, he starts walking up on me. He walks up behind me, y'all, and he smacks me not once, but twice on the side of my head, like with all his might, with all the force he had in him, y'all. It was like he was trying to knock me down. I just remember just like him hitting me so hard on the side of my head to the point where I thought he was going to knock me down to the ground. Mind y'all, you have to understand, like I said, I was losing weight. I don't know how much I weighed at the time, maybe 120, maybe a little bit more than, probably a little bit less than that. But I wasn't eating like that. I didn't really have a lot of energy. I wasn't getting the nutrients, and, I'm dealing with my physical health and stuff like that. And I was going through it at that time. And he knew that. He knew all this stuff about me. And I didn't really feel strong enough, you know what I'm saying, as far as body wise. And he's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. Of course, he's eating all 3 meals a day. He has the energy. He's getting his nutrients. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he would put all his force, put all his might into, hitting me upside the head For what? For what reason? No reason at all. No real reason. Like, that did something to me. And I just remember dropping what I had in the sink and holding the side of my head, and I'm crying, and I'm like, why did you hit me? Like, I said it just like that. And I immediately run to the bathroom. But like, another thing that I want to say, when he did it, y'all, when he hit me twice, he hit me so hard, y'all, to where I peed on myself. That's how hard this man hit me on the side of my head. So keep that in mind too. Like, this man really was trying to like knock me down to the ground, all because I didn't agree with what he said. Like I said, this man was crazy, like crazy. You know what I'm saying? I was scared out of my mind. I ran to that bathroom and I locked the door. And I'm emotional. And I just remember just standing up at the sink, looking in the mirror, and I'm just like replaying that back in my head, thinking, what did I say wrong? Like, what just happened? Like, did that just really happen? Did this man just really put his hands on me? Like, did he really hit me upside the head twice, trying to knock me down to the ground? And, my thought is run to the bathroom, lock the door so that way he won't hit you again, because that was my fear. I thought that he was going to hit me again. So I can hear him walking up the stairs. He's going up the stairs. And mind you, the TV in our bedroom was already on. He was watching the Animal Channel. And I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. I didn't have my phone like with me. I didn't have it on me or whatever, because like I said, I was washing dishes. So I didn't even think about my phone. So I couldn't even call nobody. Um, I wasn't thinking to I wasn't thinking to call nobody, but I'm just thinking like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? So the next thing I know, because I probably was in the bathroom for like 5 minutes, and the next thing I know, I hear him calling for me to come upstairs. So I'm taking my time. I'm opening up the door. I'm walking slowly, y'all. I'm walking up the stairs slowly. I eventually make it to the bedroom, and he's sitting on the edge of the bed, still watching the Animal Channel. The next thing I know, this man, he's pointing at the TV and he's like, look, remember when I was telling you about that such and such, about that elephant and whatever he was saying, y'all, like, I don't know. But he was trying to show me something that he was trying to tell me earlier, right? So I'm thinking like, I don't care. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I just want to know, like, why did you hit me? Like, that's what I'm thinking to myself. So, I look at the TV or whatever. I'm quiet. I'm not saying nothing because I'm still in shock and I'm scared. I look at the TV and I got big eyes, so I can see everything. I see him sitting on the edge of the bed and he's peeking at me. And I feel like he was peeking to see like my facial expression, my body language. And I believe that he knew that he was in the wrong. I definitely do believe that he knew that he was in the wrong. But do you think that this man apologized for what he did? No. He never apologized about that situation. He never did. What I realized later on, when he continued putting his hands on me, he would never apologize. He would never say, babe, I'm sorry. It will never happen again. He would never explain, why he did what he did. The thing that he would do is whenever he would hit me, he would try to like talk to me like as if we cool, like as if he didn't just go upside my head, like as if he just didn't smack me. He would try to like sweep everything under the rug and try to be dismissive. The way that he called me up there to the bedroom to show me something on TV and acted like he didn't just smack me upside the head 5 minutes ago, like that was what he would do. Like that was his thing. And I started pushing it in the back of my mind too, and trying to like act like nothing ever happened, and try to pretend like, oh, it didn't happen. He didn't put his hands on me, but he did. He did though. Whew. Fast forward after that, we had decided that we wanted to do something for the 4th of July. So we had went and got outfits and everything, and I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to spending time with him, and I'm not even thinking about the whole kitchen situation, right? So the day of, right, it's the 4th of July, and I remember I started to get like a little bit of pain in my stomach, and I'm hoping that it's not the stomach attacks from the gallstones, because they come whenever they want to. Like, it's the worst pain, y'all, the worst pain you could have. And at that time, I wasn't taking no pain medication. I was just dealing with it. I would just go through it. I would just deal with it. So he ended up leaving the house. He had to go do something real quick, right? So the pain started to elevate. It started to increase, right? And I'm just like rocking back and forth. I'm moving around. Like, I can't deal with pain like that. I really can't. But I was fighting through it. And then eventually I ended up going to the bathroom because I had to throw up. I remember going back to lay down. I'll never forget, I was watching Wildin' Out. I hear him coming in the house. I hear him downstairs coming through the front door. He comes up the stairs and he comes in the bedroom. He sees me laying down and I'm just like, babe, I don't think that I'm going to be able to go outside. I'm not going to be able to do anything. I'm in so much pain, right? Do you think that this man showed that he cared? Do you think that this man acted like he cared? Do you think that this man sympathized with me? Do you think that this man showed any type of concern? Do you think that this man offered me any 7 Up, any ginger ale, a cracker, a bowl of soup? No, not at all. No, because that's not in him. He's not nurturing. He's not a caring person. He don't give a damn about me. And like I said, he knew about my gallstones. He knew about my health and what I was going through, but he didn't care. So that showed me that everything he said when I called him when I left the ER was a bunch of bull. It was BS. He didn't mean that. That was his way to get me in his trap. Do y'all understand? Do y'all see? Like, that was his way of getting me in his trap. And I felt like I was in too deep. I was just in love, like crazy in love with this man, want to spend the rest of my life with this man, even though this man treats me like shit, even though this man is not good to me. I love this man and I'm still gonna be with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I felt. No, this man told me, well, I'm still finna go outside. I'm finna get dressed and I'm finna go do me. And he was kind of like as if he was coming at me, like he was mad at me, like it was my fault, like I wanted this to happen. And he was just saying little stuff. And I think he also didn't believe that I was sick. I also believe he felt like I was faking or making it up, which I wasn't. Like, I want to be outside too. Like, I'm not gonna make up being sick. Like, I would never make that up. So yeah, y'all, he ended up getting dressed and he left me at the house to fend for myself. And I could hear people outside the window. The window was cracked open. I can hear people outside. Everybody having a good old funky time. My family, I believe they went to the beach because my family, they always do stuff for like the holidays for the most part. And my cousin called me like, cuz, like, you coming outside? We at the beach. Like, you coming? Like, are you going to be outside? You coming? You going to be out here? You coming to the beach? And I'm like, no, I can't come because I'm sick. I'm laid up in the bed. Like, yeah. I felt like I was the only one that was in the house just going through it. Fast forward to a few days after the 4th of July, I'm going to tell y'all about this next incident that happened, and this involves physical harm. So I remember this being a few days after the 4th of July only because of my Google photos, because I took this particular picture the day of, right, when this situation happened. So one day we're at the house and I'm not going to say too much, but we were being intimate, right? In the middle of us being intimate, he got mad at something. I'm not going to say what, but he got mad at me. And we ended up finishing up or whatever. And he had to go to work. He wanted me to come to work with him because, yes, I was able to ride in the work truck with him. And, he wanted company. He wanted, me to be there, to keep him company and everything, which was fine. But sometimes I didn't like going with him. So we're steady like arguing, we're going back and forth or whatever. And this day, y'all, I decided that I wanted to have a flip mouth, and I felt like he was in the wrong for how he was feeling, because of the situation and why he was mad. I felt like he had no right to be mad at this particular situation. So we get ready, we get dressed, we're leaving out the house, we get in his car because we had to drive like 40 minutes to the yard to go pick up his work truck. So we're going back and forth, right? Like, we're kind of like face to face going back and forth. And he had a note phone. I did too, but he had a note phone and he had the Otter phone case on his phone. I guess this man, he got tired of hearing my mouth and he wanted to shut me up really bad. He wanted to shut me up. Tell me why this man decided, and it happened so fast, y'all. This man decided that he wanted to chuck his phone straight at my face. This man threw his phone straight in my face, y'all. It happened so quick, and he did it with such force, like the way he threw his phone at me, the same way he was trying to knock me down to the floor, but he didn't succeed at knocking me down at the floor, on the floor in the kitchen. So the next thing I remember doing was, checking to make sure he didn't knock my teeth out, but I was bleeding a little bit. And he was still going at it. Like, basically talking about I told you don't come at me like that. Like don't talk to me like that. So I did shut up. I got emotional and I didn't really say nothing after that. You wanted me to shut up? I mean, you didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to throw your phone at my face. I mean, I guess he felt like that was the only way to get me to shut up. But I was just speaking my mind, and little old me is not finna put my hands on you. Like, I'm not a fighter. I'm not confrontational. So the fact that he just couldn't take the heat, he couldn't take what I was saying. And yeah, maybe I could have said it in a lower tone of voice. I could have brought it down a few notches, but I feel like he could have as well. And sometimes, when you're in a relationship, you're gonna argue. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean put your hands on one another, or put your hands on the other person. So I wanted to go back in the house, y'all. I really wanted to go back in the house. I didn't want to be around him. I didn't want to deal with him. But I ended up going with him. I still went with him or whatever. I felt so foolish, y'all. I felt so dumb in that moment. But anyways, we ended up driving the 40 minutes to the yard. I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything to him. Oh, my battery is about to die. Okay. Hopefully I can finish because I'm almost done. We get to the yard, and usually he'll have me sit in his car so that he can prepare to put stuff in the work truck. So something told me to take a picture real quick because something told me that my face was swollen. Sure enough, I took a picture and my face was swollen. And y'all, I still have this picture. My face looked dried. I was just going through it, y'all. And I guess the reason why I held on to that picture for so many years is because it's like a reminder for me to know my worth and to not go back to that type of situation ever again. It may sound crazy, my reason for keeping the picture, but that is how I see it. That's how I look at it. And it does break my heart to see the younger me and just where I was mentally and everything and what I was going through and what I was allowing to happen. But, you live and you learn, right? You live and you learn from stuff like that. So we finally get in his work truck, right? He starts driving. And so he started telling me about what his female coworker had just told him. So his female coworker, she worked the front office, right? But she just so happened to be out in the yard and they were having a conversation, right? And I wasn't worried about her or anything like that. I don't think they had anything going on. But anyways, let's say her name is Amanda, right? And I don't think I ever talked to Amanda. I don't think we probably said some like, hey, nice to meet you, maybe. That was about it. Tell me why this girl gonna tell Angry. She gonna say, because she could see me through the windshield, right? She could see me sitting in the vehicle. She gonna say to him, I don't understand why you're with someone like her. Like, just by the way she's looking, like, why does she look like that? Look at her face. Because usually I have a resting face, y'all. And back then, like I said, I had low self-esteem. I didn't think I was pretty. I didn't like my smile. I had jacked up teeth. I had gaps in my teeth, big buck teeth. I never would smile in pictures. I didn't like, I don't be walking around cheesing and smiling and stuff like that. So for her to say that, and then for him to be like, he agreed with her, he started saying stuff too about the way that I was looking. I mean, of course, in that moment, I looked the way that I look. Why? Because I just got done crying and this man threw his phone in my face. My face looked swollen. How else am I supposed to look? Am I supposed to be jumping for joy? Am I supposed to be happy? I don't know if he expected for me to just fake it and act like I'm good, but knowing that I'm not. And I'm thinking like, dude, did you just get amnesia? Did you forget that 40 minutes ago before we got here, you chucked your phone in my face? And that's part of the reason why I look the way that I do. You're the reason why I look the way that I do. What are you talking about? Like that's what I'm thinking. Like I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to argue after what he did, but I'm baffled and I'm feeling some type of way. Like, and I'm mad at her because I'm thinking, girl, you don't even know me. You don't know me. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know my situation. Like, girl, you and the boss man, the man that hired Angry, y'all don't know. Like, y'all have no idea what I'm going through. Y'all don't know what type of dude I'm dealing with. Y'all don't know nothing about me personally, that I deal with depression, anxiety. I didn't like myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself enough to walk away from a man that was abusive, that was disrespectful. Y'all don't know that I'm sleeping every night with the enemy. Y'all don't know that this man that y'all work with is crazy and that he is putting on a facade for y'all. Y'all don't know nothing about this man. Y'all don't know what I'm going through, what I deal with pretty much on a daily basis. So that really pissed me off. That just really did something to me. For her to say what she said about me, my facial expression, the way that I look, and him agreeing with her when you're the cause. You're the freaking cause of why I look the way that I look, because you threw your phone in my face. Forget about all the other times that I have a resting face. Let's talk about now. Like, let's talk about this moment that I have a swollen face. You know what I'm saying? So that just really pissed me off. It made me feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? So, oh yeah, it's other stuff that happened. A lot of stuff I allowed to happen, the disrespect, the physical, the mental, the verbal, emotional abuse that I went through for 6 years. But I'm gonna end it here, y'all. Like, I'm gonna end it here. My battery is about to die, but I know it was kind of heavy, y'all. It was kind of heavy. I had flashbacks. I was going back, y'all. I was really going back thinking about everything. But I think, I'm good. Like, I'm okay. Like I said, I'm doing better than I've ever done before. I haven't been in a relationship since this relationship, and I've learned a lot. And I've learned that it's okay to be single. It's okay to be by yourself. I learned to never ever jump into another relationship right away. Like, it's okay to take your time, and don't let someone pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. And also just praying and putting God first, and praying about the person that I'm talking to, and asking God, like, God, show me a sign. Am I supposed to be with this person? Am I not supposed to be with this person? Like, I seek answers from God. So I do things a lot different now. And I kind of talked about that in previous videos about, like, it's okay to be single. It's okay to do solo dates. I'm just I'm just in a different place in my life, y'all. Like, I love myself. I have self-love. I do my self-care routines. I have a relationship with God. I stay in my own lane. I love myself. And I know, like, I do the dating apps, and I may talk to guys here and there, but I just know that I never ever will find myself, or I hope that I never find myself being in a relationship that is not right, and I'm quick to blocking and deleting, and yeah, I could go on and on, y'all, but whew, let me end it here, y'all. I hope that you guys like the video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, be kind in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, y'all, I will see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.